What's up, James Bond Canada? Jeff Wybo. So back a few months ago, I was in Washington with From Sweden with Love's Anders and also like the Bond Experience, David Zaritsky. And we were at the International Spy Museum and none other than George Lazenby was there to give a talk. And I just wanted you guys to see it from my perspective. A three-part series from James Bond Canada all about George's past, and he talked all about On Her Majesty's Secret Service. People asked him very interesting questions. If you guys have other future questions for George, make sure to leave them down below because I will be seeing him very shortly in Portugal and Switzerland on the 50th anniversary of On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So we look forward to you guys following our journey on Instagram, so make sure to get over there and check that out. And also enjoy this video. It's a three-part series, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Well, that's for you.
Really? What are you doing with that?
I think you're gonna talk into it. And that's for you, because we're supposed to toast these beautiful people.
Okay.
Here's to you, and here's to you all on Global James Bond Day.
Yeah.
All right, George. George, you're a very good sport. Thank you for joining us. And we are, well, I've seen you before once or twice, and I drug you out of a bar just a little bit ago. That was pretty fun. So you've given me some hints that you haven't seen the movie in a little while, but I'm gonna ask you, there's a really great scene at the beginning where you say, hey, this never happened to the other guy. Everyone know that one? Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit, like, how did that happen?
It happened because I was doing my own stunts on the movie, and some of them were a bit scary. And I'd say, I bet you the other fellow didn't have to do this. Well, I was jumping out of helicopters and God knows what. And Peter Hunt, I believe, told somebody later, no one's seen him yet. If we kill him, we can do it all again. And I didn't know that, so I thought, you know, actors did their own stunts. And that's why you got those fight scenes close up and all that stuff. And that basically helped me get the job. I knocked out the stunt coordinator. My dad didn't tell me to miss by this much.
Did you ever learn to pull your punches? Because I've heard you say that before.
No, I did. There was a Russian stunt guy that was going to kill me if I did it again. And so I learned real fast.
Oh, yeah. That's just great. Well, thank you for that. And were you a Bond fan before?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't have been able to play it otherwise. I mean, I'd never met an actor before I got that job.
Yeah.
And I just imagine, do your best you can to copy Connery. And this is what they had to change my walk because I walk like a drunken Australian. And I had this weird Australian accent. They changed my accent, my walk, taught me how to breathe when I'm frustrated and scared.
And how is that?
Well, I had this woman that was teaching the English Prime Minister, Wilson, I think his name was. And she used to lay me on the ground and put a foot on my stomach and a match in my mouth. I'd talk like an Englishman, you know. And so, and meanwhile, Harold Wilson, that's his name, he'd be going out as I was going in, so she must have been a good teacher. Because half England couldn't understand his northern accent. You know.
So she polished him up?
She was polishing up the Prime Minister and me at the same time. In a nice way, of course.
So it sounds like they were trying to make you like Connery, but were there ways that you particularly wanted to make sure you were different than him as Bond?
No, I had no choice. I just, you know, I did the best I could, like the scene you saw there briefly, where I come in.
We're gonna get it back, I swear to God.
I come in and I go down on my knee. And the director said, don't do that, do it like Connery. Come in and turn and do this. And so I did it about 15 times the way they wanted, and they ended up using more than I did. So, and it was like on the beach in Portugal. They said, say that line of yours. I said, what line? This never happened to the other fellow. So I just said, this never happened to the other fellow. And they left it in. And so I never got paid for that. For writing the script.
Well, that was a question I had about, there's so much wonderful humor in the movie. You're looking at a Playboy magazine at one point. Lots of funny notes. You're toasting the Queen in a framed image. Were those ad-libbed? Is that you? Is that a combination?
It was what? Ad-libbed?
Ad-libbed?
Ad-libbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a bit of ad-libbing here and there, but most of the time it was like when you see me come into the room and throw the hat, I was any Bond that could do that.
And we'll
and
got
then,
that for you.
And then remember the line.
No
Doing
wonder
two
they
things at
wanted you
once.
back. Yeah, that's pretty great.
No, the funny part about it all was I was messing around with a girl, with a friend of mine, and he said, you gotta help me out. I said, what? He said, I got this date with the biggest agent in town. I wanna be an actor. And I said, well, what's that got to do with me? He said, my girlfriend's coming back into town. You gotta meet her on this corner and go to a screening with her. And I did. Her name was Maggie Abbott. She was a biggie. And we saw this screening, and I didn't see the movie because the Beatles were there, the Rolling Stones were there, and I'm going, oh, Jesus. And then I won't tell you what happened, but I went back to Paris. And this is a bit weird, because I was just entering a girl's apartment in Paris, and the phone was ringing. And she says, it's Patou. I said, how can that be? Nobody knows I'm with you. And it was Maggie Abbott. She called my flatmate, said I went to La Capole restaurant, and the maitre d' said I left with this girl, and she tracked me down.
They sound like spies.
You'd think I'd think it was an important call. But she said, you gotta come back to London. I think you're right for the role of, and I said, what? I'm not gonna tell you on the phone, you gotta come back to London straight away. So I hang up, and I won't tell you what happened. But I forgot about the call. And about 3 weeks later, I go into London, and the same guy says, wait a minute, you want your phone? Oh yeah, she called me in Paris. I'm damned if I know. And he said, let's go see her. And if he hadn't have done that, I would never have got the part. I went up there, and she made him wait outside. And I came in the room, I said, what's this? I've never spoken in front of a camera in my life. And she said, I think you're right for James Bond. I said, what? And she said, I said, what makes you think that? She said, you've got something that the 3,000 other guys don't have. 3,000? She said, they've seen 3,000 guys, tested 300 on film, and they're still looking for what you got. And I said, what is it? She said, arrogance. She said, you're so shit sure of yourself. I've never met anybody like you. So I went off to see the producers, and they threw me out because I wasn't in the union and blah, blah, blah. And I noticed that they were dressed like James Bond, all the guys going in there. I had long sideburns that were fashionable in Paris to get laid. And then they had to have bell-bottom trousers, and Connery didn't wear that, and I was dressed like a hippie. So meanwhile, I go back to, I said, they won't let me in. He said, you gotta get in. And I wasn't in the union, so she couldn't get me an appointment. So I went back and I got my hair cut like Connery's. And the amazing thing, I went up to his tailor in not Savile Row, but a street next to it. And I said, give me a suit like Connery's. And they said, it takes 6 months. And I said, what? That's how long they took in those days to make a suit. And I was walking out, they said, wait a minute, there's one here he didn't want. And my arms were a little bit longer than Sean's, that's it. It fit perfectly. And I said, I'll take it, 100 pounds. In those days, it was like 10 weeks' wages. And so I got the suit, I got the haircut, and I went back to the same casting office, And I waited till the girl ducked down behind the counter to get something. I ran up the stairs, and fortunately, the casting director was on the phone with the producers. And I leaned on the door with the Rolex showing, and he said, "Who are you?" He put his hand over the phone. I said, "I heard you're looking for James Bond," you know. And he said, "Harry, there's a guy," and he said, "Bring him over." Otherwise, if that guy would have not been on the phone and interviewed me, he'd have thrown me out. He would have figured out that I was full of shit. So, next thing, I know I go over there and Harry's got his feet up on the desk. And I don't sit down in front of people with their feet up on the desk. So he's pointing at the chair right in front of his feet, and he's on the phone. And I went over and looked out the window. And then he said, "Tell me your life story." And I just told this casting guy a whole bunch of lies as I was walking across the road. I worked in China and Hungary and Russia and all these places I thought they couldn't check on. And, meanwhile, he said, and then I was shitting myself. I'm thinking way over my head. I got to get out of here. This guy's ruthless, you know. And he said, the casting guy said, "When's the director coming back from Switzerland?" And the director was Peter Hunt. He was gay. There's a reason for me telling you that. And he said, "Friday at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, sir." So I said, "I can't be here." They said, "Why not?" I said, "I'm doing a film in Paris." I was actually shitting myself and just wanted to get out of there. And so the guy said, "How much will it cost us to keep you here till Friday?" And I said, £500, which was like 6 months' wages of the average Englishman in those days. He said, "Go down and see Stanley Zappel." He was the accountant. "He'll give you £500. Be here at 4 o'clock on Friday." I said, "Shit, how do I get out of this?" I go down and Stanley says, "What's the check for?" Because he was just gives this guy £500, you know. So I said, "To come back on Friday." He said, "What? No actor ever gets paid to come back." And so he said, "I'll give you $250. I said, "No, forget about it. I'm out of here." No, go. He gave me the £500. Then I get Maggie on the phone. She said, "How'd you do?" I said, "They gave me £500 to come back on Friday." "George, be serious." I said, "They did." I said, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm in the phone box right outside the office." "Oh, Jesus, stay there. I'm coming down. And don't lie to me." So she comes down, sees the check, and she can't believe it. And so, but meanwhile, I went and had an acting lesson. I did. And I was with Ronan O'Reilly, the guy who started Radio Caroline, and with all the Beatles, because a neighbor of mine knew him, and I said, "Do you know an acting teacher?" So I didn't know one. And he said, "I know a guy," and called up. Ronan used to teach acting. So he comes along, and he said, "I'll tell you whether you can act or not." He said, "I'm going to hide this coin in the room here. I want you to go out, and when you come in, point to it." And he had 3 or 4 of his mates there, and I came in and I couldn't see it. He said, "Look down." I was down between my legs. I walked on it almost. He said, "You've got to be able to chop out all the people in the room and just concentrate on the line and what you're getting in here for." So I went out again. I came in. I saw a little bit of it behind the picture on the shelf. I said, "There." He said, "You can act." So, I didn't know what he was talking about, but it gave me confidence. And so I go in to meet the director on Friday, and he is pissed because he was going to stay the weekend with his mates. He was gay, and he had all these friends in Switzerland. He was going to have a weekend with them. God knows what they would have done, but that was the story. And he's sitting there like, "Tell me what you've done." He's really cheesed off, and I didn't know about the Switzerland thing until later. And I don't know what made me do this, but I said, "Peter, I've never spoken in front of a camera in my life." And he said, "What did you just say?" And he got up and he started belly laughing, walking around the room. He says, "You said you've never acted?" He said, "You've filmed 2 of the most ruthless men I've ever met in my life. They made me come back from Switzerland to see you. Stick to your story and I'll make you the next James Bond." So I go over to the office with Peter. "Get him out of here." Harry and Cubby are saying, "He's a clothes peg." I'd done some modeling. And they had everything I'd done on a bloody screen. And he said, "We'd be the laughing stock of the industry using a male model for James Bond." And Peter says, "No, I want to test him. You're not testing him at the studio. It'll just make us look bad." So I ended up testing at Harry's place. And yeah, they gave me a love scene, ride a horse, swim. They said swim, and I can swim like a fish. So I dived in the pool and come up the other end. He said, no, we want to see you on top of the pool, up on the water. So I did that for him, and this went on for about 4 months. Michael Caine was my friend on the weekend. He was under contract to Harry Saltzman. Tell George about acting. He never told me a bloody thing. And we just played table tennis in the pool. And meanwhile, we're about 4 months into it, and I was thinking, this is bullshit, I gotta get out of here. Well, even one other thing they did that was funny. This guy, I met him later, and he told me why he came up to my room where they were putting me up in Grosvenor House, a nice suite. And he came up to the room, knocked on the door, this beautiful woman. He said, this girl wants to make love to you. And I said, really? So we climbed in and we're going for it in bed, and he's sitting there in a suit watching me. And I said, I was thinking, you know, it'd be like my mates that have their clothes off getting ready for seconds, you know? And I ran into him about 2 years later. John Daly was his name, from Hemdale Films, and he came up to me, and he was a friend of theirs. And he came up to me and said, hi, I'm the guy that brought the girl up here. This is after the Bond, a couple of years after. I said, yeah, what was all that about? Well, they were worried because you'd been a male model, that you might be gay. They wanted to find out whether you were or not. And I thought, Jesus, talk about getting tested. So they gave me the full 100% test. Meanwhile, during the film, I didn't like the idea of this film. You gotta be there at 7 o'clock in the morning, know all these lines. I'd never had it so bad. And you only got 8 girls for 9 months. That was rough in those days. And finally they give me a helicopter at night to go anywhere I want to go, you know, in Switzerland. Because I was bitching about being on the mountain. And that was an actor who's difficult. You know, because I'm saying, I need to get off the hill. And I've been here. Oh, then I went into town. This is a true story. I went into a gun store. And I was with one of the stunt guys. I said, I want to buy that Luger there. And the guy said, you got a license? And the guy said, yeah, he's James Bond. He gave me the bloody Luger. I'm not kidding. So, what am I doing? I'm up on the mountain. I got one guy throwing cans up and I'm shooting. You reckon that didn't make the crew nervous? So, next thing I know, the police are up at my room. Give us a gun, and Harry's with them. They're going to stop the film unless I give them the gun. But I'd gotten 2 guns. And I gave him the one I didn't want. It was a .45, which just looked good, you know. And I still had it until I gave it up when some drug people come into my house one night from the police force. And they said, you've been smoking marijuana. And I said, no, I haven't. And this big bowl of marijuana seeds right on the table. And I hadn't been, and some other people, I had 5 girls staying there. So it was like, they were some were smoking it. And it was going out the window, and the Bobby walked along the beach was getting stoned. You know? Finally, the guy said, no, I gotta charge you with it. I said, look, I tell you what, I got a Luger. You what? I got a Luger, you can have it. And I'd handed it in at lunch. Oh, that was funny. I was getting on a plane in Switzerland, and the police came and called me up to the front of the plane. And they tucked the Luger into my belt and just walked off the plane. And I was with one of the PR guys on the plane. He'd already asked me, did I have any guns on me? And I told him no, and I didn't when he asked. Now I have. So I get to London, and they said, you got anything to declare? And I said, yeah, this. And he says, is it loaded? I said, I don't know. It was handed to me. I don't know. And he said, would you mind checking? So I did check, and there was 2 rounds in it, and the PR guy's going, oh. He's walking around. And they just gave me a little pink slip for it and said, you can pick it up on the way out. And I said, thanks. And then I wheeled and dealed with these cops to give them the pink slip if they don't charge me with the drugs. So they said, yeah, fair enough. So somewhere the Luger's there. And I just thought the world was, you know, when you're James Bond, you start to believe your own bullshit. You start to think that I'm somebody, you know. Aston Martin caught me, some press guy photographed me riding to work on a motorcycle. Because Triumph and BSA both gave me motorcycles. And I had a Rolls-Royce limo. And I'd throw my briefcase in the Rolls-Royce and get on the motorcycle and do 100 mile an hour up to Pinewood. And some press guy took a picture of me. So the insurance company got on to Harry, get that crazy bastard off that motorcycle, you know. So I ended up getting Aston Martin to give me an Aston Martin. Or they said, what are we going to do to get you off that motorcycle? I said, just ask. I said, come on. And all they had to do was say, get off the motorcycle. You know, it's going to hurt the insurance. And they gave me an Aston Martin. So I had the Rolls Royce follow me with the briefcase, and I drove the Aston Martin. I don't know where they got the idea I was hard to get along with. Yeah. Anyway, oh yeah, Ford gave me a Cougar, which was in the film, and I didn't know, I forgot. And it was in Pinewood for 2 years, and the tax man came after me to pay the taxes on this Cougar. You know, he'd keep it there for 2 years. And I said, well, I don't want it. They said, well, you can get rid of it if it doesn't exist. And Richard Harris had got a Rolls Royce the same way, another actor, Richard Harris. And so what they do in this case, rather than buy it, because it's not worth the amount of taxes when it's 2 years old, so they burn them. So we sat there, they burnt both cars in the middle of Pinewood Studios. And, they don't exist. How can you pay tax on something that doesn't exist? And that was the way around that. And things like that were happening. And, but it was, you know, I wasn't educated, so I didn't know anything about anything. You know, I just lived my life. And you know, from day to day, basically. And it's, you know, it's worked out because I didn't do another Bond movie, so I've had a great life. You know, the worst thing in the world would have been having to do another Bond movie. Everyone said, didn't you like it? I, no. But it was fun watching them, but it's not fun doing them. And so that was the end of that. Anyway, any questions?
So how'd you guys enjoy that? Make sure you guys stay tuned for part 2. It's coming out shortly next week. Also, if you guys like the channel, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Lots of James Bond content coming out, especially more with George upcoming in the future. And also all my other James Bond shenanigans that'll be coming up. Obviously, we got Bond 25 coming up very shortly. So stick around for part 2 of this series. Comment down below what you liked about this and what you didn't know about George. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.